respected audience, honorable delegates, scholars, experts, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum, strastutye, and a very good morning. On behalf of Islamabad Policy Research Institute, I welcome you all to this session of diplomatic reflections, Russia-Pakistan relations, and the way ahead. I would request the audience to please put your phones on silent mode, and we would formally begin our session with the recitation of a few verses from Holy Quran.
علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان الشمس والقمر بحسبان والنجم والشجر يسجدان والسماء رفعها ووضع الميزان ألا تطغوا في الميزان وأقيموا الوزن بالقسط ولا تخسروا الميزان صدق الله العظيم.
We will begin with the welcome remarks by the President IPRI, Ambassador Dr. Raza Mohammed. Ambassador Dr. Raza Mohammed has had a celebrated career in Pakistan Army. He served as an additional secretary at the Ministry of Defense Production. He has represented Pakistan as an ambassador to Mauritius, Madagascar, and Seychelles. He has also served as an advisor to the President, National Defense University, Islamabad. I would please request Dr. Raza to come on stage and deliver his remarks.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. His Excellency, General Ganesh, the ambassadors, former ambassadors, the diplomatic corps, scholars, colleagues, media people, thank you so much for being here. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to begin with few words on ambassador, the extraordinary ambassador and philanthropy. I don't know how many of us know when we say plenipotentiary. So I went to see the meanings of it in dictionary, and it was revealed that he is a diplomat endowed with special powers to take independent decisions on behalf of the state. I think it is a very, very big title. An ambassador endowed with such powers, that speaks of his caliber, that speaks of his wisdom, that speaks of his importance. And we are lucky to have him here since 2019. And the day he came, after that, we have seen, I have been following him. He is very active, enthusiastic, very friendly, and a skillful diplomat. And thank you so much, Excellency. After your coming in, Pakistan and Russian Federation have improved their bilateral relationship. Ambassador is in service from 1997. I think more will be said about him later on. But these were few words I wanted to say about the ambassador. I think I'd like to say a few words about the Russia itself, Russian Federation, Russian Empire, Soviet Union, USSR, very briefly. It's a great country. Despite the breakup of Soviet Union, it still remains the largest country of the world from the area point of view. It's a great nation. Actually, it was 19th century when a state was established by the name of Kiev Rus. So that is the mother state, and from there on, the Russia evolved. And Russian Empire, the Tsardom, was thriving in 18th century, and it was the third largest empire of the world. Thereafter, they saw the revolution in 1917, and then in 1930, there was rapid industrialization done in Soviet Union or Russia. In Second World War, Russia was a country which played decisive role in the victory of the Allies. And I want to inform you on another thing, you may be knowing it also. Russia was the first country which made the human-made satellite, and it was the first country to send a spaceship or a ship into the space. So they led the the conquest of space by the human being. There has been a desire on both the sides to develop good relations. We all know we went through a little checkered history before the end of the Cold War. But still, you will be astonished to know, during the times of the Soviet Union, Pakistan was helped greatly by Russia. Pakistan Steel Mill, you know it. There were 3 power plants which were established by Russia during Soviet Union's time. It was Muzaffargarh, Multan II, and Kuddu. These were established by Soviet Union. The OGDCL today, sorry, OGDCL, the Oil and Gas Development Corporation of Pakistan, it was also established with the help of Soviet Union. So they helped Pakistan a lot in industrialization. And I know personally that Russia has been offering Pakistan to revive the steel mills for multiple times. And Excellency, you will be perhaps happy or astonished to know, I was the first person to receive General Alex Foreman in 2014 in Pakistan. That was his first visit, and I received him in the aircraft. They came on a chartered flight, and I was Additional Secretary of Defense Production. So when we met, he said that it was my dream that we come to Pakistan, and that is where the defense cooperation actually started multiplying. And that was the time when Russia offered us to sell their Mi-17, which we were hoping and asking for long. But then we spoke to him, requested him that now we know Mi-35, although it took a little time, but next year we signed the deal, and the Mi-35 came. And today, I was just reading through the newspaper day before yesterday, or 8th or 9th, that Colonel General Alex Foreman is now the defense minister, and he met our ambassador in Russia, I think. So it's a great honor that I can claim this, that I was one of the first people in this opening. Presently, Pakistan and Russia are cooperating in various things. It is trade, cooperation, and trade is multiplying in the energy and gas and oil. There are a few areas where we have consensus, I think, which I think Ambassador would like to speak more. That is on the regional stability. There are a few areas like extremism, terrorism, countering the drugs, countering the separatism. These are those areas on which we do not have any problem, but Russia and Pakistan have a great consensus in this. And we look forward to further cooperation with Russia, especially for a country like Pakistan, which is energy starved, and we are having problems with the oil. And the oil import has started already. With these few words, Excellency, once again, I welcome you to IPRI, and this is not your first time. You have been with us in the Magala Dialogue, and we look forward to see you again and again here with us. Thank you so much. God bless you.
First of all, General, thank you so much for your introductory remarks. I am always even shocked. I can say I'm shocked when I hear that our Pakistani friends, despite being in this information vacuum, because you are surrounded by the Western mainstream media, conduct precise analysis to the point. So you know history general. It's amazing. How come? How can you know all this being in this information vacuum? Indeed, Pakistan is our dear friend and our partner. And I think that one of the most significant changes in the policies of new Russia, post-communist Russia, is our desire to learn how to have balanced relations with both India and Pakistan. I would be lying if I said that we overcame the past practices, but believe me, we are trying, we're learning to have relations with our dear friend Pakistan independently of our relations with third countries. Pakistan is also significant because it's a reputable state, Islamic state, with, I suppose, 240 million people as per the latest census. It is young because your populace is very young. And also there are two things, two factors that bring us closer. First is probably traditional values, because this LGBT madness in the world, make traditional countries closer. So we used to have traditional values, and we will have traditional values. And we do not accept those requirements of the so-called political correctness. Then definitely we got social consensus in both our countries. If you ask people on the streets of Moscow how they, how they perceive Pakistanis, the response would be positive. The same here in Pakistan. So it's, by the way, a very interesting phenomenon that right now the West has invested more, much more. But the attitude of ordinary people, I would argue, who the Pakistanis like more. This is a phenomenon. So less money from Russia, but more love for Russia here in Pakistan. It's a phenomenon. I don't have an answer to this question. But, and I was told by my senior colleagues that during the Soviet-Afghan war in the 1980s, even at that time, the attitude of Pakistanis towards the Soviets, it could not be described as friendly because we were invaders. We were invaders. But it was at least neutral, at least positive. It was not hostile. It's also a phenomenon. So considering all this, I am optimistic that in the years to come, we will come even closer. We have excellent prospects in building up our economic ties. Right now, our trade is very modest. It's around 700 million a year. So we got to do much more. And we have and we can do much more. We have excellent opportunities in the field of investments, mutual investments, because right now we don't have substantial investments, and we should. At the same time, political interaction is regular, tight. We interact constructively in international organizations. We got excellent mutual understanding at the highest level. And I would dare to say that under any Pakistani administration, we used to have some kind of summit. Nawaz Sharif, 1999, April, he visited Russia. Then General Musharraf, 2003. President Zardari, 2011, and he visited two cities, Moscow, and he was smart enough to visit the native city of Putin, St. Petersburg. Then definitely Prime Minister Imran Khan visited Moscow, and he was fortunate enough to be there on February 24th, 2022. Then we got excellent interaction between heads of foreign ministries. So this year alone, we had 3 personal interactions between foreign ministers and 1 phone call. So I'm saying all this not to bore you, but just to prove that we got excellent political interaction. We supported the initiative of Pakistan to declare International Day Against Islamophobia. So that was your country's initiative. It was great. We think that to insult anyone, insult religious beliefs is a crime. It's disgusting. It is disgusting. It has nothing to do with freedom of speech. So we support you, sir, and we think that that is exactly what we got to be doing. You cannot, for example, be on a plane and cry fire. It's also could be, presented by some people as freedom of speech, but you cannot do that. Then I would say that we value, and I would like to stress this, we value Pakistan's contribution to counterterrorism efforts. We do know that Pakistan was, suffering the most. 80,000 people, as per my data, lost their lives in fighting terrorism. There may be some different estimates of your economic losses, but some say that $150 billion was direct and indirect losses of Pakistan since the war on terror started in 2001. We have excellent interaction between our counterterrorism units. And as an example, I can name the counterterrorism drills called Druzhba. Druzhba means friendship. And I suppose that we will have them maybe next year, inshallah, as Pakistani partners say. We will have them, God willing, as we say in Russia, in Pakistan. So we conduct them alternatively in Pakistan and Russia. Then we have an exchange of delegations. Here I wouldn't go too far because I'm speaking in the open. What else I would like to stress? I would like to stress that we all live in a very dangerous world. And sometimes we don't understand how dangerous. Because my understanding that the West and Russia are playing chicken. You know, when two cars racing towards each other and the loser is who swerves first. So, and what if nobody swerve? So it's what we got today. But I hope, I don't believe it, because I'm pessimist. But I hope that common sense will prevail, and we will have some kind of rapprochement and some kind of search for a balance of interests. Here I would stop myself so that to not bore the audience, and I'm ready to answer any questions you may have for me.
Большое спасибо. Yeah, большое спасибо, Your Excellency. We would now open the floor for question and answers, and I would request the audience to please keep your questions short so that we can, I see you, sir, so that we can take more questions. Abdullah, in the last, please. Yes, sir.
Good morning, Ambassador. It's so good to see you here.
Thank you, sir.
Of course, it's my privilege to have known you.
Thank you.
Ambassador, the one question that I would like to raise, which may not be the most politically correct question, but I would like your thoughts on the burning question of the day. And before I guess you can guess what it is. I went to London recently, and a friend of mine, British, former member of the parliament, he invited me to dinner, and there, as I might have told you, that there was a professor from London School of Economics who spoke about the Russian threat to NATO. So I, countered him, and I said, there's no Russian threat to NATO, it's the NATO threat to Russia. So please tell us a little bit about your perspective on the Ukraine war. Thank you.
First of all, I understand that I got to be very honest, and I have to operate with facts verifiable. So I will be supporting my answer with something that you can look it up. Right now, a lot of NATO members, mostly European countries, are giving away almost every weapon they have to Kiev. So I I think that this is a pretty clear indicator that they never expected an attack from Russia. Otherwise, they wouldn't, transfer their weapons to a third country. Second, if we take the accumulative strengths, economic and military strengths, we are no match. It's also easily verifiable. And the only, I would say, obstacle in their way of, putting us in our place militarily is the known factor. This, I would say, is speaking for itself. So there is no threat from Russia. Another fact, easily verifiable, even on Google, is that who was expanding against whom. After the collapse of the USSR, and after the promise that NATO wouldn't move an inch eastwards, there were 5 waves of NATO expansion. So I think even what I mentioned, sir, is some kind of food for thought. That maybe this is something else that the West has against us, some kind of other grudge. As for what's happening in Europe, I think the short answer is we wouldn't want Ukraine to be a part of NATO. This is very specific and very concrete. When people say that it's against international law, it's debatable. For example, in the UN Charter, there is Article 51, which says that a state has the right to self-defense. And we believe that the deployment of NATO infrastructure, and NATO, in our view, is a very strong and very anti-Russia military alliance. So it's a threat to us. So we believe that is a threat to us. There is some kind of parallel with what happened around Cuba in the 1960s, because that was the same scenario. We deployed our missiles in Cuba. John Kennedy found out, and then he ordered a naval blockade. And then he said that we demand that these missiles be gone, be taken away. But you know this, so I'm just have to answer since you asked me. So it's debatable, and there may be different interpretations of whether it's legal. Most countries, I presume, would say not. We believe it is. But anyway, our country perceives the developments in our neighboring state as an existential threat. That's it. When a country perceives something as an existential threat, this country acts. And all other considerations are of secondary importance. So that would be in a nutshell, sir. And there is another way, just to finish this. There is a famous American cliche. if you don't want to lose your job, in most media, in most, because definitely there are exceptions, you got to say not only that Russia attacked Ukraine, but you have to say brutally that that was a brutal and unprovoked attack. That's it. This is a cliche. You got to say this. And even people who have some deliberations right now on the matter, they start with this. Of course, Russia's attack was unprovoked and very brutal, but, and he expresses his point of view. I can agree as a person, as a private citizen, that the attack was brutal. Yeah, that was an attack. Yeah, it was brutal, but unprovoked. You please make your own conclusions.
Thank you, sir. Abdullah, please hand over the mic to Dr. Amir Wari. Sir. Amir Saab.
Thank you. Excellency, my name is Amir Gauri. I am the editor of a newspaper called The News in Islamabad. One question but two parts. Do you think that the constant military and financial support to Ukraine is in one way an American and the Western attempt to create another Afghanistan for Russia? And secondly, do you think that if this war goes on and the economic situation in the West, especially in Europe, becomes more bleak, there's a possibility of disintegration of the European Union?
I will be frank. I don't believe that the expenses of the West are so unbearable that there will be some crises. So I think that the American economy, you remember this Godfather 2, that he's been dying of the same heart attack for 20 years. So it's pretty strong, and it is very strong, and it will adapt. So we should not count on it in our foreign policy calculations. Europe is much weaker. Yeah. But I cannot, say something with certainty because I just don't know. I see negative trends. I see deindustrialization of Europe. I see that if we take this, I would say, competition of economies, power purchase parity. So we overtook Germany. It's serious. It's serious. So right now, as per World Bank data, first China, then US, then India, then Japan, then Russia, and only then Germany. So we overtook Germany. So it speaks for itself. And Russia, I believe, is a developing country. It's not a superpower. It's a military superpower. But this is a developing country. So we overtook Germany. And yes, the problems of the Europeans will exacerbate. Definitely, no doubt. Because the formula of their riches were technological achievements and cheap Russian gas. Now this formula was disrupted by the Americans, and congratulations to them, because basically it made the situation much better for themselves, since now they are the suppliers of a bulk of gas to Europe. So as for Europe, yeah, so we may expect something serious. I'm not sure that it will lead to some kind of disintegration of the European Union. And frankly, I don't care. I don't care how they live. I don't care how they will survive or not survive, whether they will prosper or not. I just don't care. I care about my country. And we got to be focused on our country. And here I would like to say the following. I believe that a country with a market economy cannot collapse. Its economy may contract, it may shrink, but it cannot collapse. So you see how Russia adapted to sanctions, to the sanctions. I would say that nobody knows the exact outcome or what we got today. But I do know that Russia will stand on its feet unless it buries itself. So there may be some kind of internal problems, I mean political problems. I cannot exclude that because nothing under the sun can be excluded. But if we preserve the unity of the country, no chance. Russia will stand and will become stronger. But that doesn't mean that the US will collapse. It will not. My optimism that everything will be fine in the political sphere in Russia is supported by the fact that more than 80% of the population support Putin in Russia. It's also verifiable, and this is not, the polls by the government. So I would like to stress this. If we take, governmental polls, it will be higher. So I'm talking about the Levada Center, Levada, Levada, the Levada Center. Its center, by the way, is recognized in Russia as a foreign agent. So what I'm saying is that this is independent. And it shows the latest polls, Levada polls, Levada Center polls, show that Putin enjoys the support of more than 80% of Russians. So I don't see that the opposition, pro-Western and anti-Putin opposition has a chance. So that would be my answer, sir.
Thank you. Good morning, Ambassador.
Hi.
It is always a pleasure to listen to you. And first of all, I would like to wish happy belated birthday to the beautiful city of Moscow, and I wish it the best. I have two short questions. One is regarding the Druzhba exercise, which has been regularly taking place between Pakistan and Russia since 2016. What was the reason that those exercises didn't materialize this year? Second, there are reports in the media that Pakistan has stopped buying Russian energy as of now. First of all, I would like to know if there's any truth to those reports, and if yes, what contributed to Pakistan's cancellation of not buying Russian energy anymore? Thank you.
As for Druzhba, we are talking about special forces. And these are elite units. So I don't know the exact reason, but you may take a look at geopolitical developments and make your own conclusions. What might be the reason? I don't know the exact reason, but what might be the reason, you can draw your own conclusions. These guys are professionals. These are special forces. As for oil, yeah, I think we are ready to continue our deliveries and supplies to Pakistan if the price is right. Purely commercial. I do not know the exact price. To be honest, even if I knew, I wouldn't tell you because we understand that this information is pretty sensitive. But we are for a free market. We think that attempts to hamper development in poking one's nose into pure business interactions are doomed to fail in the long run. And we will continue to interact with any partner willing to do business with us. So that's it.
Abdullah, please hand over the mic at the back. None yet. We encourage the ladies to ask questions. You're putting me in a tight spot.
Thank you. This is Shabir Vagra from PTV World. My question is about, again, as you know, we were very excited and a lot of excitement we have seen about the first consignment we received about Russian oil. And because, you know, Pakistan is suffering from inflation, which is driven by high energy like prices. So what happened after that? We haven't received any other consignment. Either this project like Russian oil to Pakistan is shelved or still it is on, one thing. And second is about the Russian withdrawal from the grain deal that ultimately hampered a lot of grain supply to the world, and food like crisis, like food security is one of the major crises, and third world countries are affecting. So what is your stance that, is there any chance that Russia can recontinue that supply line and come to that deal, like that deal can alive again?
Russia demands that treaties be implemented. This grain initiative is a deal. So it has, it contains Western obligations and Russian obligations. We fulfilled our part of the deal, and we done it for a year. So when the so-called partners start implementing their own part of the deal, so we are ready to resume this deal. And I consider that just a manifestation of fear of the developing countries, before the West, because it tries to exert pressure on the side which it perceives a weaker side. We are not weaker side. So we implement our part of the deal, and we implemented our part of the deal. But the other side failed in doing that. So it fed us with nice words, but they can shove these words you know where. So we got to have some actions. We got to have some actions. They promised that we will be reconnected with SWIFT. We were promised that there will be no obstacles in the way of our export for our grain and fertilizers. Nothing was done, only sweet talk. We don't like sweet talk anymore. So this is how I would answer your question about the grain deal. So as our president and as my minister said, the day the West decides to implement their promises, and we see that very moment we resume our part of the bargain. As for the oil, I am unaware of the exact status of the negotiations because you understand that we are under sanctions, and all talks are confidential, and they confidentially discuss the mode of payment and the exact price and other parameters of the deal. So I am not aware, but I made my analysis from what I read, including in your paper, which has very strong connection with the energy ministry, right? That I made my analysis, and I think that this is just the matter of a price. So probably the Pakistani side want at this price, and we want to sell at this price. So these are just commercial deliberations, I would say. So I hope that everything will be fine, and we will find some common ground, and we will continue to trade because it's in our interest. We get money. And the last thing I would like to stress, and so that everybody remembers that Russia is not the USSR anymore. We are not a communist state. So most people don't like communism. So we like free market relations, and this is a free market.
Hello, His Excellency. I am Ali Jabir, journalist from Associated Press of Pakistan. I just had two quick questions. Do you think this Ukraine conflict was like a trap for Russia by the America and West? They wanted to drag you in their backyard and fight this conflict in their own style. And recently, the attacks at some installations of the Russian military by the Ukraine through the NATO weapons, what they have damaged they have incurred. Do you think this has highlighted the weaknesses or the chinks in the armor of the Russian military infrastructure? And my second question is, don't you think that Russia, China, Pakistan, Iran, and the Central Asian republics and Afghanistan, they failed to develop a regional platform to have strong economic and political and diplomatic synergy that would have helped them in fighting back the imperial powers, the imperial tactics against their security? What's your take on that?
First of all, I think that we should not, cooperate against anybody. So I said that I don't care how they live because I'm a Russian. So I care about my country. But I wouldn't like, I don't think that it's in Russia's best interest to have alliances against anybody. So it's something wrong. Second, I think that most representatives of the American elite are sincere in their anguish. And I think this is just America's tragedy, that neocons, ideologues, are in charge of their foreign policy. So they are like Bolsheviks, but with different radical ideas. But their behavior is like the behavior of Bolsheviks in Russia. So I don't think that they wanted us to invade Ukraine. But this is my personal. There may be some different ideas. But for us, there was no choice. As soon as our proposals that two treaties, with one with the US and the other with NATO, on non-inclusion of Ukraine into NATO and security guarantees were turned down by the West. We came up with this proposal in December 2021 that security guarantees and two treaties which would stipulate that Ukraine is not member of NATO were turned down. We were rudely ignored. Basically, they told us, just take a walk. Very rudely ignored. So we didn't have any choice. We had to take some actions. That actions turned out to be the start of this special military operation. But I don't think that the Biden administration, wanted this war. I don't think so. But this is my personal, I repeat. So we don't know what's in his mind. You could ask him, and if he is capable, he will answer you.
Sir Nawaz and the person besides the row, and then we'll take some questions from there as well.
Excellency, my question is there any...
And I would like to take one question from my compatriot also. We got the Russian journalist here.
Okay, Excellency, my question is there any serious back-channel negotiation or engagement going on between Russia and the West to bring end the Russia-Ukraine war? If not, so what will be the future of Russia-Ukraine war?
First of all, no, we don't have interaction with the Americans. At least I don't know about them. The Biden administration supports this war. President Zelensky forbid himself to conduct any negotiations with the Russians. So there is a presidential decree. It's also not a secret. You can look it up. Easily look it up. So there is a presidential decree in Ukraine that would make it a crime for anybody who would conduct negotiations with the Russian invaders. As for the United States, I think they are just in a waiting mode. They just watching how it will play out, and then they will take a decision. But what I would like to say, since I do know that there are serious scholars present here, is that if we take a close look, Ukraine just don't have a chance. It doesn't have a chance. Take a look at the populace. So we are much stronger. So it's just a matter of time when we win.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. His Excellency, the switcher. So my name is Shafkat Rasool. I am MPhil Scholar of International Relations from Islamic University. So His Excellency, I have a question regarding to the visit of Imran Khan, Moscow. So what do you think Imran Khan remove to the visit of Moscow? And I don't see any clear statement from the Russia. And cipher is true, not fake. And second, my question is the behalf of the people of Pakistan. We are looking to visit our Putin to Pakistan. So when Putin will visit to Pakistan? Thank you.
As for the decision of my president, you got to ask this question if you have this chance. The Kremlin itself, because I don't have any right as an ambassador to even make a comment on the decisions of the president. And by the way, the spokesperson of our ministry doesn't have this right either. As for His Excellency Imran Khan, we respect him. We had a very fruitful interaction when he was in Moscow. As for internal affairs of Pakistan, we don't interfere. So it's your internal affairs, and we may have some personal likings or dislikings, but I will keep it to myself because I'm a foreigner here, I'm your guest, and I don't have any right to comment who's right and who's not. But Imran Khan is a legend. He is, I suppose, a 1992 cricket champion, captain of the team, on the national team. So he is a legendary person here and abroad. And he, in my view, is a very honest person and very courageous. And we like that we had this chance of interacting with him and his ministers. So this would be my response.
Здравствуйте.
Здравствуйте.
So this is I am Ambassador Sajjad. You have, to a certain extent, given something about BSGI, Baltic Sea Grain Initiative. And in fact, our Pakistani foreign minister earlier requested your foreign minister, because it has stabilized grain price all over the world. And recently, Mr. Putin met Turkish president, and he again requested continuation of this. So what I understood, it means that it is now settled, no more further BSGI, as per your discussion. The other thing is that in your intro, you said that Russia wants parity, that is the relationship between Pakistan and India. Russia sees it as equal. But we do not see any vibrancy between relationship between Pakistan and Russia. So what steps or suggestion would you give so that our relationship would become more stronger, cohesive, and multi-directional, keeping in view the current situation in your country and in Pakistan too, and in the region? Thank you.
I think we are doing exactly what we should do. And no matter who is asking us, the Turkey government or the Pakistani government or the United States government, we want that our partners implement their promises. That's it. We are not a charity club. Second, as for Russia, India, Russia-Pakistani relations, I have mentioned, sir, that we are learning to do that. I didn't say that we are doing that. I said we are learning to do that. It's a very gradual and painful process. And if you see, and I think that in most matters, it's just because of commercial considerations. Because we have different, scale of interaction with India, and I hope that we will have approximately the same level of interaction with our Pakistani friends and partners. So if my answer would be direct, I would say that we are learning. It's not, we're not there yet, but we are moving gradually, painfully, step by step, but we are moving. And second, that the intensity of partnership with India is much more tense, much more close, because of the volume of joint projects. And here, sir, I would like just to voice one practical idea, is that we got to have some independent payment infrastructure between Russia and Pakistan. We cannot be, dependent on any third country. So, but this is a task for our financial authorities, of course. And I have always been telling this, that we need to build this separate and independent payment infrastructures that could allow us to trade. For example, when I retire from the diplomatic service, I would like maybe to import your mangoes to Moscow. How shall I pay for this? It's impossible because of Uncle Sam, or because how they call it, it's the new expression that the rich man north of Richmond. Yeah, those guys, I mean, the ruling elite of the US. So we should not be dependent on anybody, on Uncle Sam or whoever. That would be my response, sir.
We'll now club 3 questions. One is from Faizan, then we'll come to Hamza and Dr. Hurram, and then we'll have another round of questions.
And the Russian journalist.
Sure. Take the, sir, please. Sure, sir.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Ruslan Bekniyazov at Artas News Agency. Excellency, I have 2 questions for you. First one is that in August there was an opening of Russian language program in Allama Iqbal Open University, which you also participated in, and this opening, and you told that we are at the beginning of the long and fruitful wave of cooperation in the education sphere. So the first question, could you please tell us about the education programs which we have now between Russia and Pakistan, and what actually our prospects are. Second question is related to regional sphere, as that we see that under sanctions, Russia had to go more close relations with Eastern countries. So there is now a long way developing, which is international trade route north-south. So what do you think prospects of Pakistan in terms of north-south trade route? Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm always happy and privileged to interact with our leading agency, Artas. It's our leading agency, and thank you so much for coming here and asking these questions. As for Pakistan's participation in transit routes, I believe that it's just inevitable, and it will be successful. And if we take different names, such as CPEC or Pakistan's initiative on connectivity or our north-south, basically we're talking about the same routes. So definitely Pakistan should and will be an integral part and effectively functioning part of those transit routes. As for the position of the Russian language here, I'm very glad that we started this expansion of the presence of the great Russian language. It's no less great than the English language. So we started this movement. We are very grateful to the Pakistani side, to the Pakistani government, to the Pakistani universities for accommodating our proposals. Yes, we opened an open education center. It is called an open education center on the basis of Allama Iqbal University, and it provides both online and in-person education. Mostly these are language courses, and we believe the number of students will be in hundreds. And I think as a first step, it's okay. Later, as soon as we have closer interaction, probably we should expand those language exchanges, because we got to learn Urdu too. So this is a two-way traffic. So we got to learn Urdu too. So we have to strengthen the position of Urdu in Russia, and vice versa, the position of the Russian language here. I do know that besides this open education center, which is being financed by the Russian government, we will have an increased number of state scholarships, because Russia grants scholarships at a governmental level, and I suppose it's around 50 a year. It's a drop in the ocean, a drop in the ocean. It's also financed by the government. But again, as a person who likes free market and who doesn't like communism, I would like to say that my belief is the less government is the better. And we have to encourage, big universities. We got to encourage big universities to establish direct links and direct interaction. For example, just an example, Moscow University and Islamabad University, Qaid-e-Azam University, for example, they should have direct interaction, and they should have some direct exchange of scholarships, and it should be done not at the expense of Mr. Taxpayer, but it should be done at the expense of foreign investors, private investors. So this is my idea. I think that if we find the way to draw private investment in this sphere, that would be great. So it will be much more than the government can do, because the government has always a shortage of funds. We should not ask the government. We got to do something ourselves.
Faizan, you may ask the question.
Thank you so much, Excellency. I hope I'm audible. Thank you so much for such an insightful discourse, sir. One of the biggest concerns emanating out of the Ukraine war is regarding the possibility of a nuclear exchange. So how credible are these concerns? Does Russia have an escalate to de-escalate strategy? And how robust is the command and control system of Russian nuclear command? Thank you so much, sir.
Sir, if you don't mind, shall we take 2 more questions with this one?
You're the boss.
Sure, sir. Sir,
I am the guest here, so it's your ruling.
but you are honored, sir. Thank you, sir.
I would like to say, sir, that the possibility of us using nuclear weapons is defined in our law. Only in case the existence of Russia is threatened. So I don't see any circumstance that our existence will be threatened unless NATO starts direct military engagement. In that case, everything is possible. But I do believe that they understand. And here I would like to stress one more thing, that right now the most sane and reasonable people are the military. The militaries everywhere. So they understand what it is like. They understand that this is not a computer game. So we got to be afraid of stupid politicians, encouraged by the mainstream media with its very dangerous speculations. So these guys don't know anything, and they are pushing us to the brink of an abyss. It's very dangerous. I agree with you. But again, we are a traditional society. We understand our responsibility. And it's, as our president and our minister said, there is just no possibility of that happening unless the existence of Russia is at stake.
To Hamza, then Dr. Hurrem, and the participant sitting left to Dr. Hurrem.
Ambassador, thank you so much for your valuable remarks. My question pertains to the Ukraine crisis, but when we talk about Ukraine, and Russia's justification for the special operation that you mentioned. I mean, there's a lot of talk about NATO's eastward expansion. But if we talk about the Azov Battalion, which is in Ukraine, it's considered to be a neo-Nazi, fascist, racist organization. And there's documented cases of them actually attacking Russian soldiers and abducting everyone. So don't you think it's in Russia's interest to, yes, peddle with the narrative that, you know, NATO is eastward, there is eastward expansion of NATO, but also highlight the atrocities that the Azov Battalion is committing to try and make sure that, you know, the case is far more compelling at the international level?
I would like to thank you, sir, sincerely. Thank you that you know this, because this is an important, you know, factor. And by the way, it's also easily verifiable what you said, because the Azov Battalion was, you know, banned in the U.S. as a Nazi organization. You can look it up, everyone, so it's an open information. And before this conflict in Europe, the Azov Battalion was banned in the United States as being a Nazi unit. I agree with you. This is a problem in Ukrainian society, that those who overtook and who came to power in 2014, and that was, by the way, not via elections, it was via a coup, have been using those extremist groups as their muscles, just to do some dirty job. This is something which is terrible. I think that it was done with the support from outside, because definitely the West was interested in you know, changing the regime in Kiev. They wanted to bring the pro-Western government, anti-Russian government, and they used those guys as muscles, just as a means to achieve that. I know for sure that there is no love in the West for Nazism. I would like to state that just directly. But they used them to achieve their geopolitical goals. But since I am in an audience who is much more competent than me, because there are, you know, first-class researchers here. So I just decided to voice just principal things which would reflect our specific, you know, perspective. So I'm not lecturing anyone. So I understand who I'm talking to.
Akmal to Dr. Hurram and the person with you.
Thank you so much, Excellency. I have two quick questions. The first question is about how does Russia looks at the recognition of Afghan Taliban? And the second question is about the Indo-US strategic alliance against China. So keeping in view the fact that India as well as China are the strategic allies of Russia, so how do you look at the Indo-US strategic alliance against China? Thank you.
We'll take two more questions along with this one.
If we are talking about you know, India-US relations, what can we do? We just have to enjoy the ride. But I sincerely believe that Russia is able to offer something which the US cannot. So I believe in my country. I believe in its growth. And I think that we are pretty much, you know, ready for competition with the US. I also believe that India is in nobody's pocket. India is in India's pocket. So, they will be cooperating with other countries if it suits their own interests. So, again, we definitely don't like too much rapprochement, but it's something we cannot influence. But we are confident that we are ready and will be ready for a competition. As for recognition of Taliban, this should be an international decision. So we already have the experience when 3 countries recognized the Taliban, and we know what came out of it. So we are interacting on Afghan affairs with regional countries, including Pakistan. You have excellent envoys, very competent, and I think we should, consider that issue from the platform of regional states. It should be some common approach. And but what I do know is that we cannot, use some coercive methods, because coercive methods do not work. We know that. We got to be very, patient. We got to be very delicate, I would say, in reaching out to the new Kabul authorities. So that would be my answer, sir.
In the right corner.
Здравствуйте. Добрый день. Excellency, this is Almas Hedanakvi from Dunia. My question is related to, again, about the situation in Afghanistan. Pakistan and Russia both are concerned, especially about the situation of terror threats from Afghan soil. I have seen some reports that Russia has proposes another regional forum, regional 5 format, in which Pakistan, Russia, China, and Iran are part of it. My question is that what is different this forum offer? Because we have seen lots of other regional forums, like the Moscow format, like the Neighbors of Afghanistan mechanism, and coordinate formats. And there are 2 other CSTO and SCO also taking the situation of Afghanistan. So this is the one. And the second, what is the response from the remaining parties about the inclusion into the regional 5 format?
Definitely, we regard the Moscow format as the leading format on Afghanistan. At the same time, we actively participate in the format of neighbors of Afghanistan. So these are 2 main initiatives, and we participate in all of them. As for the 5 countries, Russia, Pakistan, China, Iran, and India, they never gathered together. So our vision is that in the future, when certain countries, remove their objections, we could, also invite New Delhi. But right now, we had a number of meetings in this format of 4 countries: Russia, Pakistan, China, and Iran. And we consider these countries as a core group. We do not consider that some kind of alternative. So it's a core group. It's the regional leaders, which have a key role in promoting the regional agenda. So we hope that we're acting as leaders in this sphere. Russia, Pakistan, China, and Iran.
In the right corner.
Excellency, Anwar Abbas from Bol News. I just want to know clearly about Donbas and Crimea, the future of Donbas and Crimea, the regions that are region of conflict between Ukraine and Russia. What will be the future in current scenario?
Crimea has always been Russian, at least in the last century. So basically, before 1952, it was officially Russian territory, and then our leader, Soviet leader Nikita Khrushchev, just presented Crimea to Ukraine, which used to be at that time a Soviet republic. So it didn't matter much because it was within the USSR, and we didn't know that the USSR will kick the bucket. Yeah. I would say I'm not saying this. You will understand what I mean. When we reunited with Crimea in 2014, there was no single shot in the peninsula, which clearly states that people are pro-Russian. So, two factors: the support of the populace, the population of residents of Crimea, and the Russian military might. So two, the populace and the Russian military might, make me optimistic that Crimea will be Russian forever, at least for as long as Russia exists. As for Donbas, as for Lugansk, as for 2 other regions of Ukraine which were annexed and proclaimed Russian regions. We shall see, we will live, we will see, as the Russians say. But these are Russian-speaking areas, and I think that a majority of those people living there support Russia. I cannot, because I got to be honest here, because people understand when they're lied to, right? So I don't know. I don't know the percentage, but my feeling is that the Russian-speaking areas support Russia. Since I do believe that Ukraine is no match in terms of potential, you can be 10 times hero, but if you are weaker 10 times, so what can you do? So what choice do you have? My belief is that we will end this conflict on our terms. So that would be my response.
We will take 2 more questions, yes, from the audience on the side, and then I would steal the opportunity to ask the last question.
Dear Excellency, I am Tazeen Akhtar, journalist. I want to know what is the possibility of President Putin's visit to Pakistan, as it was fixed in 2010 and later it was cancelled. Now when our Prime Minister visited Kremlin and we have given many other gestures, including the West and USA asked Pakistan to condemn the attack or war, whatsoever you say. So what is the possibility of President Putin to visit Pakistan?
I'm sorry, but I have to repeat my answer to this question. That I cannot comment, for the Kremlin. I hope, as an ambassador, that a decision is taken and my leader could come here sooner than later, and it would also would be an experience for me. You understand? But I cannot comment. I cannot answer for the Kremlin. But at the same time, I will tell you this, sir. We have to work, and we have to make something substantial, so that this visit, full-fledged visit, could materialize. As for the meeting between, for example, your Prime Minister and Putin, it was not in Moscow. I mean, the latest Prime Minister, His Excellency Shehbaz Sharif, he was not in Moscow at that time. He met President Putin in Samarkand. So it was on the margins of an SCO summit. Okay. But we know where Imran Khan is right now. Yeah? So this is why I switched to the latest interaction of our presidents. But if to the point, I don't know. The decisions of that caliber are being taken by the Kremlin, and I do know that for that to happen, we should have something tangible.
You said that your belief is that Russia will end this conflict in Ukraine on its own terms. Could you elaborate a little more what those terms would be?
Again, I'm not the commander-in-chief, but I believe that we will be in the driving seat when we will have these interactions. I don't know what the exact deal will be. I don't know that, and nobody knows. If you ask the Americans, they will tell you they don't know either. So what they know, and when they're being asked, by the way, I mean, the White House, the Pentagon people, they're saying that what's going on, we will see. There is a heavy fighting going on. So that is their response. Nobody knows. When I said that I believe, strongly believe, it's a firm belief, I have no doubt that Russia will win. It's not because I'm Russian, but because of my analysis. I compare the potential, and I don't see any physical possibility for Ukraine to win, even if they are all heroes, even if they all are ready to die. They don't have even, if you calculate, if you compare the number of people living in our countries, you will see that they have much fewer people. So this what I meant when I said that on our terms. So I understand that there will be some kind of negotiating process. But what I'm saying is that it will not be us who are dictated to. So probably we will have what we want, so it will be something which both sides would agree to. Because otherwise, we understand that both sides should agree to a deal, otherwise it will all start again.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Thanks for my late turn. Half of my question is already answered by you. I am Wafa from Iran Press News Agency. The rest of question is that when we talk about the Russian platform, it's a good thing you are talking about few countries. Will you take on platform the other countries? Like few countries have the post-government of Afghanistan ambassadors, like Tajikistan and the other stands. When we see those borders, the problem is started almost there. Every second day, the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border has the problems. So my question is that, what about those countries which have still the ambassadors from the post-Afghan government, and what about the countries who have the Taliban ambassador, like a couple of countries, Pakistan, Iran, and others? Thank you very much.
As far as I understand, we have the same level of interaction with the Taliban regime. You have first secretary in Islamabad, we have first secretary in Moscow. I don't think that I don't think that some diplomats, Afghans, who are operating in Western capitals can represent anybody. So it's the past. So there is no Ghani. So we have a new government in place. We have a new regime in place. So this is just a political stint, a political gimmick. Two things. I believe that we should accept reality and be realistic and pragmatic in everything. We got to be very cautious in interacting with the Taliban government because these are proud people. These are people who kicked out the Western superpower out of their country. So we got to understand this, that they are winners. And we got to be very delicate, and we got to act as one. We got to act from the regional platform because we need a stable Afghanistan. We need a terror-free Afghanistan. So, and here being an ambassador here, being the ambassador here, I feel that we are on the same page with our Pakistani partners.
I understand that there are more questions, but due to the paucity of time, we would not be able to take more questions. And if I may ask, sir, I have a question. It's on a lighter note. It won't take long. So you said that Russia is no longer a communist state, and you are fond of free market and not communism. So would you also like to see a change in leadership in the future following a democratic, process, elections? And would you foresee a democratic setup in Russia?
I understand that we don't have a communist state anymore. So this is different. We have a president who is being supported by 80% of the population. So we have our problems, we know them, we identify them, and we take on them. So I would agree that the change of generations will make it inevitable that Russia will be completely different from what it used to be. So I have a Soviet psyche. I can't do anything about it because I was born in the USSR. And I understand that it's extremely good that we, started some capitalist reforms, and that we have a different country. I think that that was correct and right. But even if I understand this, I cannot act as young people who are growing up with new psyche, with new mentality, which were born free. So this is a gradual process. in terms of some features of economy, of political system, we have a different society now. But the completely new Russia will emerge as soon as people who are going to kindergartens, you know, and who never knew who Lenin was, you know, come to power in Russia. So this, what I meant. It's a gradual process.
Thank you, sir. One strictly last question. This would be the last question for sure.
Network, the media network group. Ambassador, I want to know your opinion. What, in your opinion, which group is the biggest threat to this region? Americans claim that they have dismantled Al-Qaeda, but still there are footprints of Al-Qaeda over there, over here. Daesh is also over here. TTP is also a biggest challenge to Pakistan. So in your opinion, which terror group is a biggest threat to this particular region in a Russian way?
First of all, if I knew the answer to your question, I would be not Ambassador Ganich, but Colonel Ganich, right? On a serious note, I would say that I don't know. I think that, as always, the most dangerous actions could be expected from people who are, you know, autonomous and who are ideologically driven. But this is common knowledge, and I don't know what the TPP is. It's a conglomerate of different groups. We may bond together and, you know, raise this flag and call ourselves TTP. So what I'm saying is nobody knows the exact hierarchy and the exact, you know, interactions of those groups. And I suppose that even in intelligence, in the intelligence community, sometimes people are maybe making things up because it's extremely difficult to understand what's going on. It's very difficult to say how many groups were under the banners of Al-Qaeda and then switched to a more popular brand of ISIS. So nobody knows. But I do know that you cannot, you know, get into the head of a person who is ideologically driven and who decides all of a sudden that he should blow himself up.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I would now request President IPRI to come on stage and present the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Excellency. And I hope you will not get bored what I have to say, because we have heard your answers, sir. So precise, so concise, so measured, and effective, and right answers. And you must have understood how popular you are. The number of questions you have had, we have never had so many questions on any of the guest speakers. So thank you for being here. Thank you for answering to all these questions. I think one thing caught my mind, which you said, and it was a wonderful thing, that we live in an age of information. We have more of disinformation and misinformation. So sorting the correct thing, sorting the truth out of the disinformation becomes very, very difficult. And I related to the war in Ukraine. Here in Pakistan and in whole the world, we have just one side's view. Whatever is being sent or propagated by the Western media, we do not have exact other side's view. So it's making opinion shaping, or what you call is the battle of minds is going on. I forgot to mention, ladies and gentlemen, one thing, that Russia helped Pakistan get the full membership of SCO. That is one thing I must say that we have to acknowledge. About the counter-terrorism, Excellency, you are very right. We are cooperating with each other since long, 2010 onward, 29 onward. We have been participating together in multiple exercises. About Ukraine, there's one thing which I would like to say. I've said it here. I have written it in the papers. We published a special journal on war in Ukraine. I wrote it in that. I spoke in St. Petersburg and I spoke this in London also. So, what I want to say is that Russia invasion or attack or special operations, whatever you call, in Ukraine, was it a Russian choice? Or was Russia lured into it, induced into it, and as some people say, to embroil there into a situation of war? I think this is one question which we must keep considering to answer, that when you have an understanding, NATO will not be expanded to the Russian borders, and Russia keeps saying it again and again that this is happening, this should not happen. So, was it a choice? Was it a lure? Was it an inducement in which Russia went there? Rest, I think ambassador has answered questions, but the most crystallized answer was that the country had to act. So it acted, I think. It was a good answer. So, but I want to say one thing, that which is the area which is most affected? Is United States affected from this? I think no. NATO is rejuvenated. EU is rejuvenated. Military industrial complex in the whole world thrives, and military industrial complex in the United States thrives after this war. So who is the beneficiary? And who is paying for the cost of war? EU. EU pays for the cost of war. The casualties, if there are any, are in Europe. If there are any fallouts of the war, it will be Europe. If there is environmental catastrophe, it is Europe. If it is economic slum, it will be Europe. I think EU has to consider this, that are they not being used perhaps? Grain deal, I just want to add one thing, that Russia was very open. President Putin gave a go-ahead and assured. There was a delegation from the African countries. 5 presidents of the African countries went and visited Ukraine and Russia. Russia was very positive, whereas Mr. Zelensky was not that positive. And Russia said that they will ensure that they keep getting the grains. Oil, few people asked this question from the ambassador. I think we should ask this question from our own people. What do they want to do? I think Russia is willing to go into trade. It is our capacity to import, it is our capacity to refine, and it is our capacity to distribute this oil, which may actually slow down the things. I must appreciate you again, sir, and my own team, Ishtiyaq Mekri, where is my embassy, IPRI, and everyone sitting here from my team. Thank you so much to media. You are here, and excellent questions by everyone and media too. Thank you so much for making it so lively. And once again, very grateful, Excellency.
It's my honor.
Dr. Raza, if you could present a memento to His Excellency.